Hello there, folks.
Hi there.
It's another episode of Würfel Cast. We're finally back
Huzzah.
from last year,
Finally back.
or I think this. I don't. Yeah. Anyway, so we're here for a another special episode, special after special. We're gonna do another wrap
Okay.
up, but now, so we ended the year with 2023 wrap up, and then we started the year with a a bigger event, let's say, which is the Dice Star Cruise
The best event.
2024. Yes, on Oasis of the Seas, if I remember correctly. Um,
That's right.
so it's yeah. This one is. So let me just go into this topic uh, just briefly. This is a. I would not say a show. This is a convention like free to play any games that are in the Dice Tower library type of convention mixed with the cruise things. So whatever you do on the cruise, you can do all of that, but you can still play lots of games. You get a pass to a rather huge library of games. Uh, a lot of newer games, a lot of classics, a lot of some older games that I don't know are well known or appreciated. So people gather together. I don't know how many people there are in total, like 300.
There were I think in the 400s this year. It was bigger than it's been.
Okay. So yeah, it's been hard to find place to play at some point. No. I mean, like it's just so we have certain spaces on the cruise ship to play games at certain times because we do not want to mess with other guests and you want to be in their way. So there are certain rules, but mostly it's just we have this room to play games like 24/7, let's say, and then we have some other dining rooms to use at certain periods of time, especially in the evening.
Hmm.
So there's still quite a few places to play games, and I mean you don't need to bring your own games. You can for the last day when the library is closed and they have to pack, so we have few games on our own. But mostly, I mean, if you go there, you'll probably find your favorite game out there. That's
They have enough games, and also not just So there's a large library of games and a large group of people looking to play them. So that's sort of the combination we're going for here.
yeah,
It's you if you want to play something, more than likely all you have to do is sit down, put up an "I want to play with somebody" flag, and
or
and
teach
it can
or
happen.
whatever.
It can happen.
Yeah. Somebody can teach you. You can teach them. You can if you're like let's say outgoing and you are not afraid to just join random people, which you should not be afraid of because the board game community is great. Just join other people, just discover new games. That's how I dis- discovered quite a few, or I got to learn quite a few new games. There was I think a total of so uh, my stats, what I usually do on one of the Estonian forums when I post it, I usually post pre-cruise and after cruise. What I mean is that I come to Kyle's place, we play some games before the cruise, maybe a day, and
One
a
or
day or
two,
two
yeah.
after the cruise. So I always combine because for me it's a flight from Estonia to US. I take it as the whole convention. So pre-cruise gaming
Sure.
is also part for me as the cruise. But today we're gonna talk about different games we played, and I chose only the games that we played on the ship. I didn't choose any games that I played with you, though. I would love to talk about them, but maybe I'll talk about them in any other future episodes or any
Sure.
other new shows that might occur on this channel. So yeah, that's that. And as I said, you can always when you come to the cruise, you can always do the cruise stuff. You have a lot of food, uh, drink packages and stuff. You can go out different ports, Nassau and Coco Bay, whatever, I don't remember uh, what it was, and Falmouth, I think was this year, etc. So each year it's a little bit different, and we go from Miami. so you
Yep.
can go and have experience some sun and ocean and swimming and
Sure.
uh, lots of touristy places. They
Yep.
are. Honestly,
They are
it's
absolutely.
these ports are tourist ports. Basically, they are not your authentic Jamaican city in a sense.
Right.
Um,
It's just they're cruise ports, which people who go on a lot of cruises will know exactly what that means.
yeah, yeah. So it's been a lot of fun, and I don't know what else to say. It's just yeah, it's just a vacation time.
That's what
It's
it
not
is.
it's not a convention in a sense of convention like Gen Con or Essen or whatever. So you just go there and play games. It's for me. It's like a we have board game camps in Estonia, and if people who watch our show for a long period of time, they know from many years ago that I went to those Estonian board game camps. It's almost the same. Just go there,
Yeah.
but in Estonia we form our library on ourselves by bringing games, and there it's just there. And there are also shows that Dice Tower does, game shows,
Sure.
top tens, whatever. So karaoke nights and so on. And they have sponsors, and you can if you end up on the show, answering some questions, you can win some games as well. So yeah, that's
That's pretty much it. I mean, it's a cruise with board games. It's the most play focused convention that I go to in the year. The Dice Tower Retreat is maybe rivals that, but this
mm.
one, I mean, really, I go there. I don't do much else. I wake up early in the morning and go down to the game room and find someone to play a game with, and
Yeah.
and then continue. And as people I know wake up, maybe they join me or maybe they don't. But I go there usually without much of an agenda. I often bring a game or two that I plan on teaching just so that I can contribute. But but
Hmm.
it's a time for me to try things. And this time I tried more new things than I usually do, and that will be both good and bad. I'll find something amazing that I love and something horrible that I don't ever want to try again, and those are both winning experiences.
Yeah, because you either now you know what to buy or now you know what not to buy. That's a good
Exactly.
thing for me as well. So yeah, yeah, that's how it is. Anyway, let's talk about games that we played on the cruise. Um, I have a list of 12 games. I wanted to put 13 games, but there's one game that I took away from the list because I'm going to talk about it in a separate podcast, whatever. It's
Okay.
Septima because I
Oh,
played Septima yesterday, so I thought I'll talk about it the
very
other
well.
day.
That works.
Anyway, here we are, and let's just briefly go through those different games. Some of them we both of us played together. Some of them we played separately. So yeah, let's just start.
All right.
Why don't you start?
So the first game I'm going to talk about, and this is the one game that I went in, and I only played it one time, but I went in having been asked to play this game. You also played it with me before the cruise, and that was sort of a warm up, and that game was Voidfall. Now, Voidfall was not new to me at all. Most of the other games I'm going to talk about were all new to me. Voidfall is a game I played a few times in last year in 2023, and it is a very big game. It's a big sort of space adventure, but the Euro game version of that, right? There's none of the sort of rolling dice to kill each other. All of the combat is very predictable. And what the game's really about is kind of building up your own little space economy to meet certain goals. Now, I went there having been asked by a couple of people to teach them the game. And that is because this game is enormous, right? It takes a good hour to set up. Going through the rules is an involved experience. The book has, there's a separate book with 4 pages just of icon explanation. Uh, and so people had wanted to have someone to teach them the game that already knew it and could sort of help them kind of skip a couple of those learning steps. And so that's what I did. And I enjoy this game a lot. I would have taught it more, but eventually, but I don't want to be the person responsible for setting it up and putting it away because that just takes so much time. My own copy, I have streamlined a bit. I've purchased some aftermarket upgrades that have made the sort of setup a lot easier. But still, it's a big old game. But I had a good time with it, right? I think it was a memorable play. It was, late at
Mhm.
night and the ship was rocking, so that added to it too. But it's a great game, and that's the cruise type scenario is the perfect time to try it because it's probably too big and expensive for most people just to go out and buy. So
Yeah,
that's why it really feels like the kind of game to try on a cruise or
yeah, that's the one.
convention or something like that.
Yeah, that's the one I played pre-cruise. So I enjoyed it. It's I wouldn't say I need this game. I wouldn't say
No
it's
one does.
totally my type of game. My type of game, but I enjoyed it because yeah, I feel like this was not just a typical forex experience, but rather a more Euro-y, um, more my stuff going
Yeah,
on there. So yeah, Waitful, amazing, and I contributed to your to the excitement of people wanting to learn from you by promoting you as a blessed
as a
teacher.
victim. Yeah.
Yes, and people were all over the place wanting to learn the game, but it seems like yeah, of course if you need to set it up and tear down, even if people help you, it's like setting this game up, I think uh by people helping you, it's not gonna help much because it's so procedural, it's so
It
you
really
know
is. So
yeah.
it's one again. I told people if you set it up and find me, I'm happy to teach it to you. I'm even happy to play it with you. But I just don't want to be the
and,
person responsible for that.
and Kyle was hiding all the time from those
Yeah,
people.
I
No, I'm
hide
kidding.
very well in a game room wearing a conspicuous hat. Uh,
Yes.
that's a great place to hide. Anyway,
All right. So, Voidfall. For my first pick, I don't have them in any particular order, so I just wrote them down. Mine is Obsession that we played together on one of the last
hmm
days, and so look, the looks of the game as they are that I think we mocked several times. eh, It looks even worse in real life for me. It's just. Uh, I feel like the
it's not
production quality
gorgeous.
is just not there, and it kind of is in a way for me to enjoy the game in a sense. I'm just a production guy. I'm the one who loves to have a great production and great art, and there are of course few exceptions, but mostly I'm the one, and so it can mitigate my uh, experience for the game. But Obsession itself, I enjoy the game. It's all about worker placement and this Victorian era. Uh, uh, I don't know, shenanigans and how you court people. You call them. You get guests from various rich families, so you can increase your own wealth. But mostly
And
the game
prestige.
itself and prestige, of course, and but mostly the game is all about building these wonderful houses, buildings, whatever they are, these tiles, uh, and they are worker placement spots, and you just put the workers down there, and you also you combine them with the cards which are different people, and those different people will give you benefits or some negatives as well, like they take away prestige but give you a lot of money, and they have this backstory, and in order for you to, as you said, in order for you to kind of enjoy the game, you have to leave the game, you have to almost like role play, you have to
A little bit.
immerse yourself into a theme, like oh, this person goes in there and he has this backstory, that's why he does this thing, uh, it's all about that. Overall, the game is nice. I enjoyed the combinations and putting the tiles down and this worker placement and the card play combination. I enjoyed it. It's not amazing, and as I said, art and production for me is subpar. So it's a 7.5 for me. It's not a bad game, but it's not something I would seek out. It's not something amazing, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I really like this game, but again, that's because every time I play, I just jump right in on the theme. And I think that really, I mean, look,
Mm.
none of the mechanisms are particularly novel here. You said worker placement. It's not really because you're sort of only placing on
Uh,
your own board. It's more sort of buying and
yeah,
upgrading the tiles and buying and upgrading the connections. But those are things we see in other
kinda.
games. And I'll admit it's not really a looker, but it's all very functional. And
In a sense.
it's one that I find that people who really like the theme really like, which is why I kind of sought it out, because we were playing with my sister and
Hmm.
I knew she just is over the moon for that type of thing. And so that's
Hmm.
sort of the experience that she had is the experience she wanted to have. And I'm happy for it. And I always enjoy the game too.
Yeah, which I don't care about this theme. So yeah, so
But if
that's
you
why.
did, this would be an amazing game. I mean,
Probably.
your love of the theme will take this thing from an 8 to a 10. And
Yeah,
that's really how it goes. That's how strong it is in this game. It's
I
almost like
mean,
that He-Man game I talk about sometimes.
you remember I tried. I tried my best
Yep, yep. But if that's not
to.
something you just think is amazing, then it might keep it floating at an acceptable level. But if you are way into that and dress up and go to balls and stuff, it's this thing
Mm,
goes over the moon for you.
all right, let's go to the next game.
All right. The next game is for me. All right, so we're into the realm of games I wanted to try. This is a game I had already purchased and already had sitting on my shelf, but had not yet played. And I played a bunch because it was short. It's short and light and has whimsical artwork. And that game is Dragon Keepers.
Hmm.
So this is a simple card game, and I will tell you, this cruise was the cruise of the simple card games, because I think 2023 was just the year of the simple card games. But this is
Hmm.
this. It has these adorable dragons, and what you're doing is trying to collect sets. And so every turn you'll take a card or two or three from this pile, and that will sort of change the conditions. And so what your goal is at the end of your turn is to have a certain number of like dragons in your hand, and the number is going to be determined by this kind of central display. And then you do have the opportunity to take something from your hand, like, for example, in that picture you'd want to be able to play 5 white dragons, but let's say you don't have 5 white dragons, you only have 4. If you have a card that has a 4 on the other side, you could put it back down there, and now you only have to play 4 of them. And you're trying to sort of get the most points as quickly as possible. There are bonuses sort of for doing things first. You get access to these inner jewels. If you wait until later, you get more sort of straight points. Yeah, I'm making it sound like a major strategic game. It's not. It's a
Mm.
20-minute short card game. Uh, but for what it is, it was one that really went over well. Everyone I played with had a good time. It's one I learned on the cruise and then played several times thereafter. And I didn't even have to buy because it was already sitting on my table.
Yeah. So I played for the first time we played it. It didn't feel the game. We were kind of in a rush. We played it in a rush, so I couldn't kind of enjoy the game that much. So I played it again uh, as a filler game between you. I think while you were learning some other rules. So yeah, I enjoyed simple card play. You can block off a color if you put cards on both sides, and you're just trying to you know play the right combinations and get these gems. I feel like this game, though it's enjoyable, I feel like this game will become very samey. This game, I don't feel that it has enough legs. It's just too simple and too straightforward. You just collect those gems all the time, and if some it's there's some things that are out of control for you. If somebody collects those smaller gems and you then start collecting those bigger gems, it's I don't know, it's a little bit imbalanced for me. So I don't know. If you take it as a simple, little bit random card game, yeah, of course. If you take it as a more strategic one, you will not find enjoyment here, and be ready that there is, I wouldn't say that there is much replayability in this game. it will just be very samey. It's too
And
simple
I
for that.
and I find that that's sort of what the game is offering, and so I would go to it for a game that's the same, right? That's going to present sort of the same
Mm.
short, fast, fun experience every time. And
Hmm.
I think in a 20-minute game, that's more what I'm looking for rather than something that's going to you know, encourage a bunch of different things to try.
Of
So
course.
I thought this one was a hit for me.
Yeah. All right. So, where's my picks? For my next pick is this other game that I really wanted to try at some point, and then I found a person who played it before, so he kind of knew how to play the game, but not he did not know how to teach the game properly. So we went through the rulebook, but he explained a few things, and then we still went through the rulebook, and it was a little bit of help. And this game is Ancient Knowledge.
Hmm.
Yeah. So first, I want to say one thing I am angry about in this game is that the component quality is bad. The cards are like the cards are so thin and they're just such a bad quality cards. I'm just baffled at how did Yellow put out such a bad production, in my opinion. I didn't like the production at all. The art is there. You don't really care about the art, and you care about the card play. One thing I enjoyed is that you have this. You kind of create a river of cards above you, and you're trying to uh, gain the knowledge. So you put out those different monuments and stuff on top of your board, and each round they will slide. And these knowledges they have, or whatever they are, these cards they have different numbers on them. That means that they go into those numbered slots. The card number 6 will last longer. The card number 3 will last twice as short. So yeah, and they have the abilities. They have a number of tablets, whatever they are on them, and they have a number of points you gain if the card falls off this river of cards. And one thing I found weird in this game is that there are some cards that are take that cards,
There
and
are.
these take that cards are weird in the sense that this game just does not give you the vibe of playing against somebody else. It's a solitary multiplayer game, and then there are few of those other cards. One thing. The other thing is that I didn't understand at all. There are some. Maybe it's this negative point strategy, but I'm just not great at this game. So there are tablets that you put on those cards, and if the cards fall off with those tablets, the tablets become minus points at the end of the game. And there are some certain objectives. For example, if you have minus 15 tablets in your broken tablet pile, whatever, when they fall off, it's minus 15 points, of course. You can claim this objective, and at the end of the game, you will get 4 points for that. Getting rid of those tablets in your broken pile is not easy at all. It's quite hard. You have some cards, like, for example, those take that cards, where you can take some of them and put them into other players' display. But it's like, so in order to get that objective, you have to get minus 15 points to get 4 points at the end of the game. Where's the logic? There's no logic at all in this game. And also you want, so the whole game, different cards, they give you opportunities to get rid of those tablets before the cards fall off. This is the whole game. This is all you want to do. You don't want to get those broken tablets. You want to get the clean cards and use those clean cards for other abilities. You get the artifacts as well. It just, the game contradicts itself within its different frames, within its different layers. This game just doesn't work. It's not a good design. I I think it's undeveloped game,
Mhm.
and some people enjoy it. But okay, if they don't see the stuff, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have nothing to
I mean,
say.
I was not a huge Ancient Knowledge fan. I played it at the retreat, And I played it again since, and it's there's moments in the game where I think that it's brilliant, but the whole experience on its whole,
Moments. Okay.
just sort of, just the whole. Those are a few moments over the course of a fairly lengthy game for a small card game. It's a small card game
Mm-hmm.
that's takes an hour, um,
Or more.
and well, yeah, and I just don't it the highs aren't high enough to justify that experience. I mean, it's all about building the combos, right? And so there is a card in there, for
True.
example, where if you have 15 of those negative points, reduce it down to 5. And so, you've used that to get this, but things have to come up together. And it's not easy to draw
Mm-hmm.
cards in the game. I mean, there's not really a natural way to do it. But what I really don't like, and it's something that I'm willing to excuse if a game is short, but not if it's long, and that is that the end game trigger is counting a certain number of cards in a pile, which just means that you're constantly counting stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
that's always very off-putting. It has to be a lot to overcome that because you're constantly thinking, okay, how many cards do you have in yours? All right, 2, 7, 10. Uh, and then I just don't know that that end game trigger is already going to be a strike against it. And then there's not really any moments of fun for me in the game.
Yeah.
So I ultimately decided it wasn't really for me.
Yeah. So yeah, as I said, I enjoyed some parts. So the part of playing, finding those combos, and the river of cards itself, the mechanism, I enjoy. I enjoy as a mechanism, but everything else just destroys the game for me. And I objectively feel that this is underdeveloped game. I
Hmm.
objectively feel that this game should not have seen the light right just yet and should have been developed further into something maybe more compact, more streamlined, smaller, taking less time, and not having any weird objectives or take that cards or whatever else. Yeah. All right.
So there you go.
Let's get to another game.
Let's go. All right. The game I'm going to try about or talk about next is another one that was new to me on the cruise, and this game was Knar, and that's spelled with a K, Knarr.
Knarr.
So this is one that I had heard about, and I'd heard good things about. And so I was excited to try it, and I was delighted to find that it's a small card game. So, what this
Mm-hmm.
game does is it takes sort of one of the more fun aspects of a game that has kind of gotten forgotten, but I still secretly love, and which is called Deus, and
Hmm.
kind of puts it into sort of this game where that's really all you're doing. So in this game, you have a hand of 3 cards. You're going to play a card, and it's going to go into a color stack of like colors, and then you're going to activate each card in that stack and get those bonuses. And ultimately, you're trying to get to a certain point threshold first. That's 40. Whoever has the most points, once that hits, will win the game. So you're trying to sort of build these combos that are going to work well for you. And then the game says, all right, now that you've built these, let's break them apart, and gives you these locations you can visit. And to visit those, though, and claim them, you're going to have to break apart some portion of your engine. So it's all about kind of figuring out the timing. When do I build? When do I take apart? And then that thing you get from taking apart one engine goes into a separate one that you can activate by getting a certain resource. And so it's sort of a nice balance between that. And I make it sound super strategic. It's not, right? I mean, it's a short game. It's probably another
Mm-hmm.
20-ish minute game. It's not long at all. And but for the time, right? The amount of enjoyment I get in the short time play is just surprisingly delightful. I've played it since the cruise as well, and it's just one that I can see myself going back to lots of times. Now, is it perfect? No. I wish, for example, that there were more effects in that card deck, right? There's really just gain the helmets, gain the bracelets, gain points, or
Mm-hmm.
move up on that loot track. And I
Mm-hmm.
kind of wish that there were, 4 or 5, some different surprises, even on the advanced side of the board. It's not that surprising. I also, and it's one of those things that I guess just comes with play. but there is sort of a mechanism in the game where you can move up on this track, that loot track, and that's going to trigger points at the start of every turn. And it's just very easy to forget those. And I wish that there were a natural way to remember to do that that was just sort of built into the game mechanisms. I don't
Hmm.
know that there's a solution or needs to be, because the game is supposed to be such a small game. But if this were part of
Yeah.
a bigger game, it would be a bigger irritation, I think.
It's this game just didn't excite me. So we played together, and you probably played a few times more.
I did.
Um, yeah, as you said, these symbols, the rewards, they're not exciting. The land cards, it's just the same symbols, but in a column, not exciting. I wanted maybe if the land cards would be more exciting, giving something new, giving a special ability, like to give something else. But it's just symbols and symbols, and it's the same thing I have a critique on with quite a few other games. It seems like we have this new um, gimmick, or not a gimmick. Let's say this new obsession with having just symbols on top of symbols again. And this
That's
gimmick was at some
that's
point,
not
it went
new.
away. Then we had text, and now we have all of this symbology again. And it's like, why is this symbol here? Just because, it's just, I enjoyed the card play here, but the game didn't make sense to me, and it just wasn't. I just didn't find fun myself in this game. I would rather play one of my favorite abstract small card games that also take 10 minutes a whole round, a whole game, is Red 7. I feel like Red
Mm.
7 is a better game for me because it has more combos, more kind of a tightened feel. This one is just loose and symbols on top of symbols. Everything is the same. Nah, yeah, but the game is not bad. The game is good. It's just, for me, no fun.
Yeah. And I again, I think this is one of sort of three card games that I came away from this experience with that are, well, one I guess I did not play on the cruise. I played before and after, but uh,
Hmm.
is I mean, these are three card games that I could see myself. This is one of the three that I could see myself just taking anywhere with me to play with anyone, because this is very much a play with anyone game, and I
This is
like
totally
that. I
fine.
think there's value to that.
Yeah, sure. To each their own. Um, so let's go to the next game, which I have on this list. Let me see. Okay, so the next game is the one I played. You didn't. I even offered it to you, but you said nah. This is Cosmoctopus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I would say
yeah.
now.
I just picked it up because I just love these tentacles, and I wouldn't say it's an amazing game right away. So in this game you are just moving around these tiles, which give you some possibilities to get cards, to get resources, and then you play the cards which have different functions to them. Some of the cards are just resources that are constantly generated, so you can buy new cards with that discount of resources. And if you stack up all of those different discounts, you can basically get the cards for free. Some cards give you abilities to change one into another. Some cards give you ability to, when you collect that particular resource, you collect more of those resources. All this simple stuff. You play those cards in front of you to become stronger and stronger and stronger. And the last one, the most important cards, are the cards which are constellations. And those constellation cards, if you fill them up, and when you collect resources, they have those. Basically, you have to fill up the constellation on the card. Then you get a tentacle, and whenever you get a certain amount, remember 8 or 7, I think 8 tentacles, you win the game. You get this head, and you are the winner of the game. So you are trying to get the right cards, get yourself great discounts, exchanges, and just very very simple combos. And yeah, just try to get to the 8 tentacles. It's not an amazing game, but I enjoyed it, and I feel like if you take it as something light, something simple to teach, by the way, you might be delighted. It's a I would say it's a family weight game, and yeah, it's I have nothing. I don't have anything particularly amazing to say about the game, but it just works. This is the game that works
Okay,
for
good.
me.
I have no comments
Yeah.
about this one. It's one that I would try someday if, but it doesn't look that exciting to me, so that's why I kind of gave it the,
Yeah,
let's
I
do
enjoy the
something else.
tentacles.
Very well.
I think when you play it in real life, it looks better than on the pictures,
Huh,
especially with this horrible playmat that they have. Just doesn't make sense in my
very
opinion.
well.
All right, let's get to another game. It's your
So the next game I'll talk about is a game that I don't think you played. You walked over while I was learning the rules and then got distracted with something else. And that game is
mm.
Arborea.
Yeah.
And this game is a very colorful game. I mean,
Arborea.
warning, uh, warning, extreme color coming through here.
Flashing
Um,
lights, flashing lights, warning.
it really is. Um,
Yeah, that's why I was
and this
distracted because I was like, I looked at the game, was like, ooh, too colorful. I'm gone.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway.
and so what this game is about, and it's a weird game. I'll just say this is a weird game, and I'm not sure even how I feel about it. I mean, I might end up. I kind of want to try it a few more times just to sort of form my opinions about it. But what you're doing in this game, and you can't really see, you can see it there, is there's those meeples on the board, and below them are paths. And so every turn you're going to put a meeple out on one of these spaces, and then it'll eventually move up, kind of sulkin like. And when it moves to a point, you can jump off of it, and each sort of area you can go either to the top or the bottom. And then on your turn, you'll activate them and move them all the way through the path, collecting the bonuses that they give you. And I think it's a very fascinating game mechanism. What I'm a little less sure about is sort of the way that resources work, because you don't have your own resources, you have sort of this shared pool. And when you contribute to the pool by producing resources, that's great, right? It means that you're going to get a bunch of points, and you can get a lot of points. In fact, when we played, Victor just did that and got many more points than I did. And the problem, though, is that because it's a shared pool, if everyone happens to be going for the same thing, it's likely that pool will be empty by the time it gets back to your turn. Um, so you kind of have to produce what you want on your turn, but that requires a whole lot of setup, right? Because, getting everybody in the right position, all the resources are produced in different areas. And I'm not sure I've figured that puzzle out. Now, that doesn't mean I don't want to figure it out. I enjoyed playing in this world. I just it was different than I was expecting, and it is an adorable game. It's very colorful. It's got a lot of sort of thematic touches pushed into it in some way or other. I did enjoy it. I'm not quite sure I've formed a final opinion after that one play. I definitely love to play it again.
Hmm. I don't know. It just doesn't look or sound exciting.
I mean, it
That's all
does
I can
look
say.
exciting. It's a lot of colors there. But the colors are a little
Too much
distracting
for me.
because finding
Yeah.
stuff on the board is a little difficult.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I've not played. My other pick for today is the game we played together, and it's the game that kind of was a correct choice in terms of theme, because we were on the cruise, so we
Ah,
had to surf on the cruise ship as well in this game, and this is Come Sail Away. I think
hmm.
we kind of are like servers. What I don't know. It's rather
You're
abstract, I would
running the
say.
cruise ship, really. It is very abstract. It's a Japanese style game that doesn't have a lot of theme in it, other than that
Yeah,
it does.
yeah. So yeah. So what you're trying to do? You're trying to um, and Kyle does not agree with me, but I would say almost a Mancala mechanism, where you pick up the meeples through the cards, but you have to put them out in order that the card says, from left or from right. And maybe you can see on the side here, there's a card that says blue, red, yellow, green, so you can play it in that way or the reverse way. But then you have to put the meeples on those different room tiles, and they're all connected by the doors. So you have to, go from door to door, from room to room, and all those different rooms are basically scoring opportunities, or let's say not mini games, but mini scoring tiles. Some
Yeah.
of them need two pairs of colors. Some of them need only the blue, yellow, green, whatever. Some of them need all different colors. Some of them don't care about the colors, and so on. So you're trying to fill those spaces up. Once you fill it, you turn it over. You get the points. You might get an extra ability. You move your baggage or luggage token on a luggage track, so you can get some tiny bonuses, something extra. And yeah, you're trying to fill up as much as possible. And sometimes you get an error, and the customer, these meeples, the customers, they go to a complaint pile,
Yes, they
to
do.
a information service desk, and you get minus points for those. And that's the whole game.
Yep.
That's basically it. So I found it simple, rather delightful. I enjoyed it. It's not something I would probably buy for myself, because I feel like it will get boring as more I play it, because there's not much going on. There's not much to discover. It's
Yeah.
all just right there. Just so straightforward, so simple, in the sense that fill up the rooms and that's it. But it will work
Mhm.
for many people, for families. It's very much a family weight game. It's just a puzzle
Mhm.
game, how to uh, start putting out those meeples in a sequence that they form a perfect uh, filling.
Yeah.
So,
Now, we did play with only the basic rooms, right? There was another set that we could have used that
oh,
might have added something to it, right? We just played with the ones that suggested to play with for the first time.
okay.
Um, but I don't know how much they would add. I didn't play with them. I only played the one time with you. I liked this game. I didn't love the game. It's sort of it has. It's a great game to try. It was one that is probably going to be difficult to find. So I'm glad that I got to try it and sort of get the experience without necessarily having to write to the publisher and purchase a copy. Uh, the Japanese games can be hard to find. Um, but I liked it. I think it will work with a lot of people. I did find, there were a lot of things that could trigger at once, and that could make some things difficult to remember to do, or to remember that you had
Hmm.
done. Um,
Hmm.
right? If you move that luggage thing up a couple of spots, well, okay, now you've got all these bonuses, and this bonus adds to this thing, which flips this over and gets you another one, and that can be fun in some contexts, but where this one is very procedural, sort of breaking that sequence can throw a little bit of a wrench into the way that things work, and
Hmm.
that's fine. I had a good time with it. I mean, I don't know that I'll seek it out again, but if it's there out set up on the cruise next time, I'll probably play it again.
I didn't find it nuisance to get those bonuses. They kind of felt like natural thing. I don't know. Maybe
Well, I
you
just
had
found it
some
was
greater combinations.
I did. I there was one turn when I triggered 4 or 5 of them, and I was just
Okay.
it all happened at once, and I was thinking, okay, so did I do
Okay,
this?
maybe.
Did I do this? Did I do this? And I just it can be a little bit. There's a lot to keep track of, and because the game is such a solitaire experience, it's not really one that people are able to help you with, and so there's that. It's again, it's not a major thing, and I did enjoy the game. I just probably wouldn't buy it.
Okay. All right. Let's get to another game.
All right. So my next game is let's talk about a negative experience. So
Hmm.
the one true negative experience I had with the game, the one game I
Hmm.
truly did not like on the
Ooh.
cruise, and there were some games that I didn't love, But the game that I truly did not like, I was walking around looking for something to do. Some people I know were playing it and invited me to join. And this is a game called Mycelium. Um, I think that's spelled MYC. There you
Yeah,
go.
the mushling
And
game.
they, yes, that's the one. And they had been
Mm-hmm.
told by someone else that it was amazing and really hot, and that everybody was having a great time with it. And so
Mm.
we set it up, and somebody else read the rules. I didn't even touch the rule book, which is nice. I usually am in charge of that, and it's nice not to have to. Um, but this game just was not fun. And the four of us who played it, the whole time we were, I mean, we gave it a good try the first half of the game, but the second half we were really just hoping that it would end. Uh,
Mm.
to the point
Just
where I was ready to
suffering.
trying to sneak some points to another player to kind of push them to the end, because the game ends immediately when someone gets 10 points. So what you're doing in this game is you're building these networks, and these networks go out to sort of these hexes out there, and the hexes may or may not have point tokens in them. And so what you
Mm-hmm.
do is you send out, you've got 3 mushroom meeples, and they go out to these spots, and then you have to connect that spot to your home and hope that there's something there on your turn so that you can take it back. And the
Mm-hmm.
way things get moved around is you flip a card and the card says, place something here or take something away from here and put it over here. And that's never very satisfying. It feels like you win because you happened to be in the right place at the right time. There's also some combat which doesn't really it's a fine combat system. Basically, it's flip over a card, add the card has a strength value to it, and then people can play bonus cards. It's okay. There's some weird take that elements to the game as well. There's just a card that says when somebody does this, play the card and laugh at them and take their thing away. Uh, I mean, that's pretty much what it says. Now, the artwork is really fun, right? It has all these mushrooms. All the cards are based on mushrooms, but it's someone's sort of um, imaginative version of how they would think that mushroom would look like if it were alive and animate and walking around. Um, the game looks like it's supposed to be fun, but it had a whole lot of pieces of it that just didn't work. The combat felt out of place. There was a hard hand limit in your cards, but it was hard to, find anything useful to do with the cards. Many of them you had to have 2 specific cards, and maybe there were 3 copies of that card in the game. And so, with 4 people, it would be unlikely that you would ever have two. And the core sort of mechanism of just gathering the resources and running home, it just wasn't that much fun. And I don't think anybody that we played with had a good time with it, which is amazing because that means I don't have to. I had seen it show up and I thought, oh, that game looks cute. Maybe I should buy it. I'm really glad that I was able to try it and realize that it's, probably a solid 4 out of 10 for me, and one that I don't need to look back
Yeah, I didn't play it. I avoided the strap. I don't care.
to.
Let's go on.
Oh, you went to play Cosmoctopus while we were playing this. Um,
I had a fun time playing Cosmactopus. I would say
I'm
that.
glad.
So
Well, we
probably
didn't have
a
a
right
fun time
choice.
playing Mycelium.
Yeah.
Or we had a fun
Eh,
time, just not with the game.
True. True. You can enjoy each other. Uh, my next pick is the game that you played before. You didn't play it on the cruise. I did. I tried on the cruise. That's Darwin's Journey.
Sure.
So I don't know if I played with some of the expansions, whatever. I don't know. They just taught me the game. I just
Hmm.
I just enjoyed the game. That's how it is. Um, and yes, so this is a Euro. This is a Euro for the sake of
No.
Euro type of game. Just try to do your best. Collect. You can see there's a lot going on now. I enjoyed quite a few parts of this game. So first of all, this is a worker placement game where you send your workers onto those spots, and you can block off those spots from other people by if you go there, then if somebody else needs to go there, they have to pay extra. And there are different things going on. You collect you kind of go out onto these islands. You see the different animals, plants, whatever. You go to the museum. You contribute to the museum. puzzle on top of puzzle. It's just, just put the token here, do this stuff, and get this many points, and multiply that many points, and get the resources, get the money, type of thing going on there. And also, what's cool about the game, and everything else is just no, it's just a hero, like everything else, like every other hero. What's cool about it? What's different? So first of all, what I liked is that the workers. So first of all, you have those different. If maybe I can see that. Basically, these are like the tokens. What they are, the stamps of different colors. And so
Yeah.
these different stamps, whatever they are, yeah, I don't remember. Anyway, here for example, so you have your workers, and all workers are the same, except like in the beginning you get your first stamp. So they are basically specialized in. So for example, this worker is now blue action worker. This is red action worker. They can go to spots which refer to that same color. Eventually you'll be getting more of those stamps, and you're gonna put them on these spots and upgrading your workers. So now your worker can go to blue and to yellow spot. Some spots are multicolored, so some spots need 2 blue 1 yellow, so you upgrade your worker to that. You get all those stamps, now you can go to that spot. And you can basically create new worker spots by buying them, getting them, and eventually you can go to those spots. You can, if you have enough stamps on your worker, then it becomes a silver and or golden worker if you have all of the stamps filled up for this worker, and then they get bonuses on those main. There are basically main actions that you take, and you can take them in a better way. So, so I really enjoyed that part of the game. Everything else, uh, they are how they are. Oh, I'm sorry, these are not stamps; they're seals. Yeah, correct.
Yes.
Seals. I'm sorry. Yeah, stamps are the one on the right. So I'm confusing it. Yeah, it's just terms. Whatever. You just colors. You just make workers into different colors.
You do. You're upgrading
Now,
your own custom worker. Mm-hmm.
now, there's a lot of things going on. What I feel like this
And you're
game
just
is a
looking at
bit.
the base side.
Yeah. And this is the base side. Okay, I played the other side. What I feel is this game is too much. What I feel is that this game is not streamlined enough. It's just everything that this designer, I think, is it Simone Luciani?
Of course.
What he usually does, he just throws everything in. And I would say, ooh, we have to edit you, my friend. We have to edit your stuff more and more and more, because each hero they put out, some people enjoy it, but these heroes will never become classics because they just are a bit too much. And this one as well. Like there is a water path with your ship. There's people going on these islands, and there are different islands as well. Why? Just make it one island, or just make it 2 islands with people. No water path, or just make it water path. Just make it one path, one single thing you go on, one track. Keep it as that, because you have all of those different worker spots. You have the stamp majority going on. And now stamps are the correct way to say about the stamps. So basically,
Those are
you
stamps,
send
yeah.
letters, whatever you do. Yeah, you get the majority in that. You get bonuses. The museum, these special tokens, which are objectives that you then put on your player board, where you can claim bonuses because you completed those objectives. I mean, there's already enough going on. Upgrading workers is great. Just play on the mechanisms that are amazing. But like the bottom half of this board is so boring. You just move on the track. It's just so boring. Just don't make it like it's basically this part of the board. I played the other half, but it's like 1, 2, 3. It's 4 tracks. You move on 4 tracks basically. Why? I don't understand. I
On the
mean,
other
some
side, I
people
think there
might
are
like it.
7 tracks to move on.
I don't know. Like, I mean, exactly. There's just too many tracks, and
No,
it's just like,
I don't agree.
please, at some point, do not overcomplicate the game for the sake of mechanisms. It seems like it's the mechanisms for the sake of mechanisms. This is my criticism. towards many of the Euro games, make them more streamlined. As I said before, I'm not going to talk about Septima, but when I played Septima made much more sense. There are also lots of mechanisms. It made much more sense than Darwin's Journey. It was so much better because everything was kind of combined into one whole thing. Here, it's just a bunch of mini games. Some of them I don't care about, but I have to do them. Oh, I'm frustrated.
See, and I really enjoyed this game. I've played it a lot of times though, and I've sort of the first time I had was a bit rough. It's a hard game to learn from the rules. It's
I got taught so.
so and again, and I learned that the first time from the rules. I then played it solo a couple of times, and then I started teaching other people. And at that point, I really started enjoying it. And
Mm-hmm.
I actually prefer the other side of the board, which has the 7 tracks. I believe it's 7, because that does make it makes the sort of movement actions more interesting. Um, on the basic side, where there's just the 3 islands and the one sort of sea track, the sort of moving your boat isn't all that interesting because all you ever do is
Oh,
move
this one?
forward. Yeah,
This one is I played
that's
that. I'm sorry. I played that
yeah.
one.
You played the base
That's
game because
going.
you didn't know anything about the time track. Um, and the
Yeah.
other side that has those adventure tokens you can go on that sort of makes those 2 movement actions a lot more interesting. And so, I
Mm.
mean, I would teach it on the base side maybe, but I haven't ever since I discovered the Fire Island expansion. That's really the way that I go with it. But I love the game. I think it's fantastic. It is not thematic at all. It is very much a dry Euro game where stuff is, pieces are fitting in with other pieces because they make points. And yeah, Darwin. So
Yeah, it's
anyway, I think it's great. But
yeah.
individual mileage may vary.
Yeah. And as you said, playing on the other side where there's even more tracks. I think that would have a reverse, let's say, reverse effect on me.
Well,
I want
yeah, and
less.
again,
I
I
want
mean,
no tracks anymore.
and it also, I approach this designer's games as something I'm going to love because he's had very few misses for me.
Okay.
And this is
Yeah.
designed as a game that's not really for everyone. This is an exclusive, it's kind of like Voidfall, right? It's a game that says I might not be for you. Uh, um,
Yeah. I mean,
and that's fine, right?
uh, yeah, yeah.
But I bet you also
I
didn't
just
play
like
with the special
Torchig more.
abilities. You didn't play with, you probably just played the sort of base dry game without the
No,
adventures or
no,
the special
we
abilities
played something
or
extra.
the tracks, or the pets. And I think adding all that
I
stuff in really
pets we played
completes.
with. Yeah,
Oh, you play with the pets? Well, that's good.
we
It's at
played
least
with
something.
some. We played maybe with special abilities. But I don't remember. Like, there's a bunch of stuff going on.
Well,
It will not.
anyway,
It will not change my opinion about the game. It's like more is worse for me. This game
and
does
more
not.
is more
This
for
game.
me in this game.
Yeah.
In
This game needs to be
fact,
streamlined a
I
bunch.
want to play it.
New edition, 30-minute game. I would
Yeah.
take that. All right.
You want the NAR card game version?
Yes, I would gladly take Darwin the card game. Okay. Anyway, your pick.
All right, my next one is a game that we did play together, and this is the Pokemon game. I'm sorry, not the Pokemon game. This is Veil of Eternity, which has nothing to do with Pokemon. Um, so this is an odd Korean game, and I've
Yeah.
decided I do quite enjoy it. And my
Mm,
friend is going to send me a copy. So, but this is a very odd game.
yeah.
It's you start each round by selecting 2 cards that are yours, and then you're going to do something with those cards. You can either put them in your hand to play later, you can cash them in for money, and then you can play the cards that you have in your hand, but you're limited. There's a hard limit on the number of cards you can have each round. And there's an interesting balance in this game between cards that give you special abilities but probably don't score you very many points, cards that score you a big bunch of points once and never do anything again, and then sort of, there's sort of a mid level that are kind of engine economy type cards. And the problem is that if you play all the really fun, big, splashy cards, then at the end of the game, you find yourself stuck because you have these cards that aren't doing anything and no way to get rid of them. Well, there is a way. You can pay a lot of money to get rid of them, and then
Hmm.
make yourself room. And I found it. I played it a couple of times. I enjoyed it. I enjoy the game. It's a game I'm terrible at. I'm never going to win this game because I'm horrible at learning when to let things go. I want to play everything. I want to build that perfect combination. And this is not a game where that really is what's supposed to be happening. But I think it's. I love that all the cards are different. I love the artwork. I enjoy the totally not Pokemon, but absolutely Pokemon theme. Uh, I have a good time with it. It's not a long game. It's again another short card game, which is the
Yeah.
highlight. It's sort of the theme of the year. Not one that I would say is for everyone. Where I said NAR is an I'll play it with everyone game. This is an I'll play it with certain people game. But hey, the people that I would play it with, I think will also really enjoy it.
Yeah, I it just wasn't fun. It's not anything in particular. It just I don't know. I cannot describe it. For my one play, it just was not fun. The
Yeah,
card combos are not fun. That's probably the combinations. Like I played a bunch of other games which create great combos, and then for example, we played Evenfall, which I feel is a much better game. It's a bigger, but Evenfall is also not that long game, and also a
it's not.
card game. So I feel like I enjoy this sort of games rather than that one here.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for my
So
own Pokemon game, Dragon Eclipse.
oh, well, I'm waiting for that one too, and that will be a very different experience, I'm assuming. I would
Oh
be
yes.
disappointed if Dragon Eclipse is this. I like this, but Dragon Eclipse was big and expensive, and I want a big expensive experience for that one.
Or $100, yeah, $150 expensive. So I
And this
hope I
one's a
hope Dragon Eclipse will be a Pokemon game. Okay, yeah. Anyway.
this one's a short, splashy game, and I had a lot of fun with it.
Hmm. Okay, yeah, whatever. Uh, anyway, the next one I want to talk about is a game about a flight, and you have to be first in flight.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that I played once, then I taught you two, and we
Yes,
played the second time.
we did.
And I really enjoy this game. It's probably my sort of game because I do enjoy a certain amount of push your luck with some strategic choices, going around the board, which is a and I think you did not agree, but this is a rundell mechanism. This
It's not.
is it is.
It's a
What is
track.
a what is a roundel mechanism is
A
where
rondel mechanism is where you can move a certain number of space. You can move a space to take a certain action. You can pay an additional cost to move certain spaces, and typically it's your own rather than a shared track. This is a time track mechanism.
no, share rundell is also
You
there
can have
if
a
you have
shared
played
rondel. If you
automotive. Sorry, no, what's this car game? Anyway,
You're thinking of
it is.
automobile, and that one is I don't think you've played that game. Uh,
No, I played the
uh,
other one, but this is a rundell you can
or
see
if
here.
you wanted to talk about, for example,
Here.
what's the
This is
game?
a
Well, I know it says that word, but that's often wrong. It also considers some things to be drafting games that are definitely not.
okay.
Um,
People who will watch this, tell me if this is rundell because this is hundred
what's
percent
that?
rundell.
The Crusades one. The
They
for
will
oh
they will be done.
I will be done. That one is a rondel game
Uh,
that has the rondel.
yes, your own mini rundell within a bigger rundell, yeah. But
And
this one
you
is
go
also
a certain
rundell.
number of spaces, and you can sort of increase. You can use that to select your action. I agree with that. But this is a time track. This is the same
Well,
time track you'll
they
see
call
in
time tracks
Thebes.
rundell as well.
It's the time track you'll see in Insights from Theben. You'll see it in Australia.
The last
It is
person
what it
always
is.
goes first. The
Yeah,
last person on the
that's
track always will go first. If you go too
the
much
time
further
track.
into the line, this is called rundell. Anyway,
Yeah,
whatever.
that's called time track.
Uh, No, PGG says otherwise.
What do you say?
I win. I
No,
win.
you don't.
Okay, we'll see about that. So First in Flight is the game where you are building your own deck, and I will use the term going around the board in rondel fashion. I will use that term here for myself at least, and then you are taking those different actions to get some upgrade cards, some ability cards, and then to get some money to repair your airplane. And eventually, you want to go flying. So you can set up a high score. And you basically win the game. There's a certain threshold. I think it's 40 points or something like that. A high score where if you get to that, the game will end. And then, or it ends at the end of the fourth round. And whoever has the highest score, you do not accumulate points from round to round. You only get your high score. And how you fly, you just play it. Was it the Mystic Veil or like the Pusher like games? I
Yeah,
think it was
Mr.
Mystic
Vale has
Veil
that. Mm-hmm.
as the same. Like you turn over the cards, or Flip City, I think. You turn over the cards one by one, and you do not want to bust. You have those bust symbols on them. If you get 4 of them, you bust. You flip them over, and you accumulate the flight distance, basically. Some of them
Yeah.
have some small abilities and stuff. Some of them are negative abilities that are basically some deficient. No, what they are, I don't remember.
The defects or flaws, I think
Defects,
is what they were called. Yeah.
flaws, yeah, flaws or defects, whatever. So you play them. The cool part about that is that when you push your luck, eventually in every other game you just stop. I'm not gonna draw any more cards. In this one, you say stop, then you play your descent card, which will give you extra flight. But after the descent card, you have to play 2 more cards. So you have to stop a little bit earlier than you kind of want to, in a sense, because you're still risking, because the last 2 cards, one of them might bust you still. And the other cool part is that you're not completely bust. You can still accumulate a score, and it can still be a higher score than the previous one if you played a lot of cards. But it just with busting, you might get less than you would be in a perfect day. And eventually you can just take those flaws into your garage and then repair them. They become simple flaws because the flaws that in your deck, they are with negative effects, and the simple flaws are just one bust token or whatever it is. You repair them into simple flaws, and you're trying to basically get the high score. I just enjoy the combinations of those. Some green cards, some yellow cards that are like once per year use. These are once per flight use, and these cards, they help a lot in mitigating the whole luck-based flying mechanism or flight mechanism. That's what I really enjoy. There's a lot of ways to mitigate your luck of draw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I liked the core of this game, which was the sort of flight action. I enjoyed that portion of it. I
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed sort of the tinkering with things. I enjoyed that. What I did not like is this time track. Uh, there
Mm-hmm.
were there were not enough space because of the way that it works, where the last person is always going to go next. That means if somebody takes a spot you want, there's no real way for that spot to clear itself by the time you get there. So that means that the opportunities to actually play the game and do the sort of flight thing, which was the fun part of the game, were very limited. There were only 3 or 4 on that track. And if somebody sat on one and somebody sat on the other, then you would really have to pass several turns to be able to do that. And
Yeah,
I
there's.
don't I
Mm-hmm.
wish that were I wish that the sort of that time tracker thing weren't there. I wish that there was some other way that that you can actually have a little bit more control. maybe a
Worker
true
placement.
rondo, something that let you sort of have a little bit more ability to control when you would do these actions. The actions themselves, the sort of other ones, were really minor. And so it would be, I take 2 coins, I take a card, I pay money to get rid of a card, and you have the flight experience. And I also didn't love, and I don't know why it was in here. And I don't think every game needs a catch-up mechanism. But this one has the reverse, right? The person who's done the best is going to get the most money at the end of the round. And to be fair, that was me in most cases. And the money isn't that useful. It's just sort of a thing that you can throw at a couple of problems and they go away. I just wish I loved the deck building portion. I loved the flight portion, and that's the part people remember. But the mechanism to get there was not satisfying to me.
Yeah, I would agree with the part where I feel like maybe some other mechanism would be great there. Let's say worker placement, something like that. Because in a sense, yeah, there are some spaces that say any, so you can take any other action on the board, which is you can take flight. But still, yeah, the flight is a lot of fun, which I feel they should have done in a way that once per year you can, or maybe as a separate phase. Now everybody does the flight. Now
That
you
happens
know
at the
you
end,
prepared
but
yourself. Let's say, yeah, but it would be, I think it would be great, like, so now everybody has prepared themselves through this mechanism of getting new cards, getting repairs, whatever, like, and then now we all fly, and now let's see who gets the high score. It would be maybe better, in my opinion. It's not the game at first I thought. It's kind of, it was a lot of fun, but then again, I come back to the same conclusion that the flight is the main mechanism. It should have been a phase, not just one of the spots on the board. Yeah,
yeah,
I agree with
yeah.
that.
So that's
Hmm.
my, and that's what kept me from. I mean, look, I did not have a bad time with the game, but that's what will keep me from playing it again. Is I just don't know that the most fun part was highlighted.
Yeah.
So
Anyway, all right.
there you
Let's
are.
get to another game. We can squeeze in
Okay.
just a few now.
Yeah, I really only have two more to talk about. And one of them I'm assuming will be a crossover with you. And so I'll jump onto that one right now. And that was The Path of Civilization. So I sat
Okay.
down with this game, read the rules, set it up. Somebody came over and walked me through some of the rules. Someone else came over and wanted to talk about it, and he wanted to join us actually. And he was talking to us, and I said, "Oh, so you must really like it." He says, "Nah, it's probably a 6 out of 10 for me." And I said, "Oh, well, then why are you wanting to play it again?" Um, he said, "Oh, well, I don't really want to, but I thought, So anyway, he went away when you all showed up because he didn't really want to play. But he said to me, I told him that Through the Ages was one of my favorite games of all time, and it is. And he said, "Oh, you'll love this." And what this is trying to be is a faster version of an abstract civilization game. Through the Ages is
Hmm.
not fast. It is not fast by anyone's definition. Even
Yeah.
I, playing it with an experienced player, it's not going to be a fast game. It's not light. It's not small. This game is trying to sort of be that, but I don't know that it succeeds. And it just sort of it lives. If I want a fast sort of civilization game, light rules, I have that, right? I have Seven Wonders, Duel. I have Mosaic. I have sort of that lighter side of things. If I want a heavy, complicated game, I have Through the Ages, right? That's heavy and complicated. Uh, and this one, it lives right in the middle, and I don't know that it does either particularly well. What you're doing in this game, what it does do well, is there's a nice simultaneous aspect to it, right? You've got 5 cards, you select 4 of them you want to use, and one of them you want to pitch. And usually the card you pitch is going to be worth nothing. There's a couple that are worth a point or two, but getting rid of the card is usually a waste. But you have to. And then you're going to get some stuff, you're going to get some more stuff, you're going to buy a card, and you're going to repeat. And you repeat for, I think there were 9 rounds total. There are some events, you can see what they are. You can plan for them, but they're never very exciting. It's usually, get some points if you've done this, and then, take your points on this plus this resource, divide by two, and get some more of this. And I loved the simultaneous nature of it. I think that was great. I think it works well. I think the rules are clear and easy. I don't think there's a lot you can mess up on. But what I was missing was any of that sort of push. I never felt like what I was building was what I wanted to build. I didn't love that this sort of cluster of wonders and leaders, they come out a couple every round, but they just kind of sit there because you can only buy a couple in the game because you just don't have access to the resource you need. And so there was just this sort of confused pile of stuff, and none of them really did anything very exciting. I don't know. I feel like if I were to play this again and find that there was a fantastic solo mode, I might go back to it. But as it is, I don't know that I loved this game, but I really kind of wanted to. I thought it would be the kind of game that I would really get a kick out of and have it be that sort of middle of the line civilization game for me. But it just felt too, well, middle of the line.
Mm, I'm a bit. So I agree with some stuff you say, and I'm a bit on the opposite side. I feel like this game is a hot garbage, um, in a sense. So let me explain. The theme, when they took the theme of civilization, they should have paid at least some of the respect for the theme. Now, this game is, I don't know if it's possible to have less theme than Seven Wonders has in Civilization,
Have
but
you
this
played
one is
Tapestry?
says, uh, yeah. I mean, I'm not taking Tapestry as, yeah. I mean, if you take the classic real world civilization type thing, this Tapestry is more of a fantasy. This one is like real world. Let's say that. If you base it on, everybody knows Civilization video game, yeah, let's base it on that. Then this is even worse. This is just an insult civilization to the civilization theme. There are symbols on top of symbols. There are circular symbols. There are rectangular symbols. You know what's the difference? There's no difference. It's just different symbols. And now you get those cubes for rectangular symbols that you use to pay for the cars that give you those rounded symbols. And you just circle around those different symbols. It just takes you to nowhere. There's no progression, in my opinion, in this game. Although you get better and better cards, but it's just more symbols. You do not feel, at least for me, I did not feel progression. I did not feel that I'm buying wonders. I did not feel that I'm buying leaders. I bought some of them. They did not feel like anything amazing at all. It's just a card that gives me two more symbols. Wow, it's a wonder? I don't care. It just the cards you buy, different mathematics, the arbalete, or the whatever else you get there, the science, the optics, I don't know, whatever, like the inventions and stuff, technologies. You get those. Do you feel like mathematics? Do you feel like optics? Do you feel like the something divine, whatever thing? So monotheism, whatever. Do you feel all of that? No, not at all. It's just abstracts on top of abstracts, symbols on top of symbols. This is just I feel like the people who promoted this game, I feel like I don't know what they like about this game. They probably missed something, or they just don't care about the theme at all. I don't know. This game should just be forgotten. It's a garbage.
Well, I enjoyed the game. I just don't know that it was one that I'll go back to. And also, I have the problem that I have some friends here locally that had told me that they didn't like the game at all. And since, the people I will play with don't like the game, it just doesn't seem like one that I need.
Yeah. As you can see, it's a rather controversial because I've heard good stuff from reviewers,
Some people love
and
it.
I'm baffled.
And I have seen it's the game that I experienced that has sort of the most disparate opinions about it. Some people I know really love it. They love that fast simultaneous stuff. And I understand that. I love that too. I just don't know that I love it here.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, yeah, yeah, you're right. By the way,
So
you picked Path of Civilization,
I did.
which was so basically you picked it. I had it on my list right after the First in Flight. So you
Yeah.
talked
Well,
about it when I wanted to
I
talk
haven't
about it.
seen your list, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You can talk about another
Anyway,
one. I only have one more I'm going to talk about. So
okay. So I'll talk about then this one and then one other one. So we have an even number of games. The one I'm gonna talk about. What should I talk about? Let's
don't you
talk
have a list?
about. I have more games on my list. Let's talk about. I'm gonna bring in some more negativity because I'm. Why not? Uh,
Okay.
the Fox Experiment.
Okay.
Like it's okay. It's not that negative. The game was fine. So this game is about you domesticating the foxes. Uh, you I don't even know how to describe that. Through the dice, you breed new foxes, and you take the different parents, and then they give you dice, and then you roll the dice, and then you combine them to create a new fox, a baby fox, and that baby fox suddenly becomes a an adult fox, and then you use those new created adult foxes to create new baby foxes, and get some points and get some bonuses, and just roll the dice, and then eventually roll more dice and then more dice, and you become kind of concentrated on your own thing. At first, you have few things, so you kind of look at what others do and what they do and how they name the foxes, how strong the foxes are. Eventually, as the game goes on, it just your own thing grows, and then you like now you can have two babies or whatever, three babies, and then now
Mhm.
you roll 16 dice. I'm over exaggerating, but it's like almost like that. And then you have to put all of those dice. So some symbols are halves on each side on the dice. Some symbols are you can see here. Some symbols are whole. Some symbols are just one half. Some symbols are the wild symbol. And let's say you roll all of these dice, then you try to combine them the best way possible, and just clogs the game, and it's just and you're like, did I miss something? Did I combine it right? It's just such an abstract mechanism. I feel like the dice just stay in the way of the game itself. Having fun, breeding foxes and kind of, building up the family of foxes, maybe. I don't know what to do here. Yeah, it's extremely procedural, extremely it becomes less and less thematic as you go on in the game. Uh, I don't know what else to say.
Okay. I enjoy the game. I like the Fox Experiment. I do not like it with two. I will say, although it was suggested. The reason I don't like it with two is that there's this weird dummy player, and it's not fun. It's not a fun dummy player. And it was suggested just to ignore that and try it with two, and maybe I'll try that. Maybe I'll love it with just sort of two. Um, I liked it. I like the game. It's a light game. I like the way that sort of the genetics works, right? As you're making the foxes, and it specializes in whatever that purple trait is. Uh, it sort of will be delivering more and more. It is a lot to
It's
manage as a person teaching the game. There's a lot to keep track of, but I have a good time with it. It's not. It's one of the games I like best that came out last year, and I always have a good time with Fox Experiment. I do not
it's
like it solo though.
it's as you said. It's a light game that is packaged into a bigger, rather a table hog. First of all, into a bigger package that should have not been there. It's a game that should have been a roll and write game, in a sense, in a small
It
package,
is.
which should have been even lighter. But it's look at this roll
It
and
does
write
take a bit of
game,
space.
and objectives are just Symbols again. Woo! I love symbols
So
that
do I.
do not make sense at all. And so it's
Oh wait, are
it
you being
just
serious or sarcastic?
hmm hmm. No, you know it just they try to make the thematic game, and as you go on in the game, it becomes more and more abstract. You lose the theme after the first round, kind of, or after the second round. That's my problem in the game, and it just, as you said, it's a very light game that should have been in a small package, light 30-minute game. It's not. It's just too too big for this kind of mechanism or game. Yeah, that's my feel. Anyway,
Yep. Well, I enjoy that one. Sorry you had a lesser experience with it, but that's a good
oof,
time to try it is on a cruise.
rough one. Yes.
All right.
Your
And
last one?
my last game is my most played game on the cruise and my most played game since the cruise. Uh, this is a game that I did not even think about, right? It happened that somebody said, "Hey, I'll teach this game to you." And I said, "Sure, let's try it." And we played it and I was hooked instantly. And this game is Forest Shuffle. Not the most exciting name. And the artwork's fine. It's pictures of animals and trees. But what this game is everything I'm looking for. Uh, this game, you have a hand of cards, and you're building a forest. And so the forest can be built out of trees, and then there's animals that can live around the trees. So you start by playing a tree, and then you can put animals. Some cards have top and bottom, and so you'll put it either at the top of the tree or at the bottom, and some have left and right. And shockingly, you'll put them on the left or right of the tree. And each card is going to score for different things or do different things for you. For example, that bird at the top, maybe it scores for all your bird symbols. This sort of sycamore tree will score for every tree symbol you have in your forest. The rabbits will score the square of the numbers that you have, and they can all occupy one space. There's a bunch of different things to try and see, lots of different animals. The game is super fast. You just shuffle the cards and you're ready to go. There's not really a lot of rules. Uh, and yet the sort of combinations that you can try for and the way that you play, I just always this one always has hit for me. And
Hmm.
everyone that's tried it with me has really enjoyed it as well. It's one that I was not expecting, and it just came out of nowhere and really surprised me, and was the game I played most on the cruise, and is just, I mean, it's everything I'm looking for in a small card game. This one's a little heavier than some of the other ones I've talked
Hmm.
about, right? It's not heavy rules wise, but there's a lot to process, and there's so many different options to score that you really, you could become overwhelmed by the choices. But once you get into it, it's fast. Your turn is play a card or take two cards every turn. I really, really liked this game, and I hope there will be more. I hope this is one that there's a few more animals that come out, a couple more trees, some ways to change it up. But even as it is, every game I've played is played out differently, and I think there's a lot to love here.
Okay. Yeah, I've not played that one. I did not want to play that one because this one is just. I feel like this is not the game for me. It's not gonna be. Sometimes you just know. This is a set collection puzzle. In a sense, I looked at several people playing this one. I looked at this one. It's beautiful. Nature theme is fine. I'm not super excited about it. But just I don't know. It's what you search for. It's your type of game, definitely. It's not my type of game. I just sometimes don't care about simple set collection puzzle games. Yeah. But
Neither do
not
I.
saying anything about the game itself. Hmm.
Well, you haven't played it, but I don't know. I do think this one is worth considering for lots of people. And like I said, I mean, I've gotten a lot of mileage out of this game. Some
Mm-hmm.
games you buy and you play once or twice and put them away. I mean, I have played this thing probably 20 times already.
All right. For my last pick is look, I do not like polyomino games or games with polyomino mechanism because it's just Tetris yet again. I don't like games that are just puzzles with almost no theme. but I still wanted to try. Maybe this is the one. World Wonders.
Mhm.
Let me tell you that it's not the one. Right away.
It's not the
I
wonder.
it's not the wonder, yeah. It's people say it's amazing. I cannot totally see why it's such a hit here. I don't think like it was a hit on the cruise. People played it a lot, but
Oh, it
I
was
think
always been
probably
played.
it was because of the promotion. It's great promotion. Arcane Wonders and Dice Tower are great friends. I think it's more of a great marketing and promotion rather than amazing game, in my opinion. This game was totally fine. You build the roads, you build the buildings, you put them out. It just, Tetris, just play Tetris on the board. Eventually, as you have certain roads and buildings and stuff, and you have the prerequisites to build a wonder, you put out this wonder token, and these are fine. I enjoyed that part, getting those wonders. If you play with more players, though, there's not enough wonders, in my opinion,
That's true.
to go through. And you can get kind of not particularly stuck, but you can make a small mistake that leads you to basically you build up to a certain wonder, and then somebody takes it from you, or you made a small mistake and you're like, oh wait, oh, I cannot put this thing here because I'm missing that particular thing, or it does not fit here. It's just one tile too short here to put it down here. Like you can make the small mistakes and they can be frustrating. The other thing is that there are a lot of rules like you can put roads to roads. You have to extend roads. You cannot put roads here. You have to start them from here. You can put buildings here but not here. You can do this but not this. There's lots of different small intricacies and rules of how can you build your board, which feels for me like limiting my own imagination. I feel like this is why I liked the castles in Mad King Ludwig. I just had to connect the doors. That's it. And I could build whatever I want. With some rooms, there was like, okay, I can build it next to that room. I will not get points. I might even get minus points, but I can build it. It's my thing. I can build it as I want. That's what I loved about the Castle Mad King Ludwig. That's why the kind of the polyominoes. It's not really polyominoes, but almost like tile laying, tile placement, tile building game that I enjoyed that worked for me. The only one. Everything else is just it's just so many instructions, so many restrictions. I don't see why like I mean I don't think it's gonna be such a popular game in a year. I think it will be just probably played a bit, but not the game of the year material at all. So it's
Well,
far from it. It's just great marketing.
I like the game. I do think it needs about twice as many wonders as it has because at
Hmm.
larger player counts you will run out of them, and that's disappointing, right? It's just not any less.
Yes.
Never feels great.
Yeah.
Or have that be a game-ending mechanism. I mean, I think one of those
Yeah.
two would have solved that problem. As a game, I find it delightful, right? I do find some of the symbols can be a little confusing for people, and the rule about where you
Hmm.
place roads, no one ever remembers, right? It seems
Yes.
easy. You place them next to the bottom of the board or another road or a tower, but people always want to place them next to something that's not one of those three things. And I that so
Yes.
that people, no one has other than me ever kept that rule throughout the
Such a
game,
bad
and I
rule.
always have to stop and say, well, remember, you can only place it next to these three things. That isn't one of those things. And so, I mean, look, it probably comes with repeat plays. People will be better. My only issue with the game, not enough wonders, and there is a propensity because there are so few points in the game, and everyone's kind of scoring them at the same rate. I've played way too many games of this that have ended in a tie, and that's never a satisfying result. I wish there were some other, and there are some, I think, objective cards that might help that. I've not played with those. I like the game. I like the game a lot. I just I wish there were more here.
Yeah. Tell me, I do not understand this. This just doesn't make sense at all. So the roads. I know. You
Mhm.
either build them by extending from other roads, but they must start from the bottom where the road basically side goes, or you have to build a tower and you can extend the road from the tower.
That's right.
Now you cannot. I think you cannot build the tower in just a simple space. It must be next to something else.
Tower has to be
No
next to something you've placed.
building or
Doesn't
something like
matter
that.
what. Mhm.
So yeah, but I mean, then it does not make sense. Why cannot I
Well,
just start a road from a building, from any building? It's such an obvious thing. It's thematic. You
that's
build a
because the
building, you
rules say
start a
that you
road from
can't.
there. Look, it's a garbage rule. It does not make sense. That's why
It,
people
it
confuse that.
it is a
Such a bad
tough
rule.
rule. It's a tough rule because it doesn't. It's
Ooh,
not. Everything else makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
Whereas
Why only towers?
that rule, people have trouble with, and I've noticed lots of people, including people who play a lot of games, have had trouble with that rule.
Yeah,
Again,
you
I
can
mean, it is
you can
what it
see
is.
this
It's
one.
part of the game.
Yeah, you can see this one. This tall. I think it's Alexandria's lighthouse. Maybe I don't know what it is. Anyway, so you extend the road here.
Mhm.
Then the obvious thing you would do is go here and extend the road here or here from
Well,
that
so you can
building,
extend it
from that
down
wonder.
because down would touch you to the bottom of the board.
Yes,
Um,
but let's say there's no bottom. Let's say you want to extend that way. You cannot. But it's such an obvious thing to do. It's
but lots of
nonsense.
people
I would house
would
rule that.
try to.
I
Well,
would house rule that.
and I have not. I've just been trying to be really clear with that one. You should hear me teach that rule.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones that comes up enough that I
So,
go heavy into it on the teach.
so the thing is that we played 5 player, and it was my
Oh,
first play, and some other players played it. 5 players was not. It was many things are simultaneous. But the other players played the bunch. So I made quite a few mistakes, and it's like in the middle of the game, I'm like, what should I do now? I already built it there, and then like repair it somehow. But like I'm like, how? It's like I've done this mistake quite a few rounds ago, and now how can I go back? Now I just have to stay with that mistake.
yeah,
And I hate that when games have this opportunity to make those mistakes. Every game has opportunity to make mistakes, but this one is just solitary multiplayer in the sense of your own board building on that. I feel like this game is prone to making a lot of mistakes
it
with the
is.
buildings as well.
The
And yeah,
building's less so, but you're right. People will think, okay, I can build this here. And then you're like, no, you can't because it has to be next to a road or next to a building of the same color. And
yep,
that's you can see I can easily keep those rules in my head, but I've also taught the game a lot of times.
yeah.
So
Tile placement is not my polyaminos. Tile placement is not my thing usually, so keep that in mind. But this one I really wanted to enjoy. It's just too many rules.
well, and I enjoy it quite a lot. I recognize that it does have a few flaws.
What's the rating? Yeah, I don't think it will go too much
Well, let's see. There's
above.
an expansion coming out for it that might juice it up a bit, and we'll see.
Oh, wonders pack. You get more wonders. Oh, hmm.
That's, I mean,
Wow,
that will
amazing.
solve one of my two problems with the game.
No, but they will just tell you pick a certain amount of wonders anyway.
You know what I'll do?
Probably.
I'll just
Yeah.
shuffle them all in. Especially,
Yeah,
look,
and
it's not
house rule the game.
that's
Yes.
that's not an issue in a game with two players. With two players, you won't run through them all, and with
Yeah.
three, you might not. But with four, you always will, and with five, definitely.
I won't play it even solo because I don't care.
Because you don't usually play solo games. Um,
No, yeah.
I'm
Anyway,
not surprised
anyway,
to hear that. Anyway, that's
yeah,
probably all I think we need to talk about at this point about this game. But
yeah.
I'm glad you got to try it. I'm also glad you didn't have to buy it because it's always great to try a game when you don't have to spend any money.
I
Um,
would never buy this game. I don't like
you
the
don't have to.
cover. I don't like how it looks. So, yeah. Like it's not something I considered to buy because it
You
just
should buy 7 copies.
so
And
some
you would have
wonders. What?
7 world wonders.
Ooh la la. I should buy Path of Civilization.
And you can pass them around.
No, we have this in summer we have the Saint John's Day, 24th of January, and 24th, 25th is the national holiday,
It's
and
not in
we
January, it's in June.
I'm sorry, June. I'm in January still. Anyway, so the main point
It's
of
midsummer.
this,
Mhm.
yeah, the main point of this holiday is to create a huge fire. So I would definitely
Oh.
buy many copies of Path of Civilization to at least have a great fire on this day.
No, and see, I don't think it's that bad. I just don't need to buy it.
I can throw in World Wonders in there. I'm not kidding.
Well, and I'm also really glad that Ashley, because Ashley really liked World Wonders, and I'm glad that she got a
Yeah,
copy of it.
that's
from the-
amazing.
from the thing, and
I say
I'm
nothing
glad,
against
you know,
people liking the game.
Yep. Anyway, but there we are.
That's it.
The cruise was fun. We played lots of games.
Yeah, I think the the games I enjoyed the most. Sorry, I wanted to say the games I enjoyed the most were the ones I already played before. Were just I played quite a few, not quite a few, but I've played few games that I played before that I already enjoy and know. I think these were the ones that saved me from rage.
An old familiar friend is. I mean, I got to play a game or two of Summoner Wars.
And I played Stockpile, so
yeah, there you go.
It's 1-1.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for watching, and we see you next time with
Very
some
well.
more positive news.
We'll see.
No, I'm kidding. All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.